Hello and welcome to today's video. And today what I want to review is something a little bit different. This was something that was lent to me on a long-term loan, or pretty much just borrowed. And it's grown on me. It's something that I didn't expect that I would like, but it really has grown on me. I've come to enjoy it a lot. And what we have here is an Ingersoll Lawrence GMT is the name of the model. The number is IN3218BK for black. It also comes in CR for cream, and I think there's also a BBL model, and that's in black with black leather. Ingersoll's a little bit off the beaten track. You can see at the bottom of the dial there it says German design, and I think that's actually true, but from all I can find, all I can read about Ingersoll, it's definitely not made in Germany. Ingersoll is a company that was originally founded in 1892. I think it actually says 1892 on the dial there under Ingersoll. Since 1892, it was actually founded in not Germany but in New York, but has gone through several iterations during its history, and is currently owned by Xeon Limited, and that is a British subsidiary of the Chinese-owned Herald Group. Interestingly, their headquarters is listed in Virginia. But as far as I can tell, these watches are likely, almost certainly, made largely in China because of the current ownership and history. As far as I can also find out, I think it is a Chinese seagull movement, but there's very limited direct information available, and certainly Ingersoll's official websites do not reveal where the actual movement comes from. The MSRP on this, I think, is about $429 US, but there is variation as to what exactly the MSRP is. What is real is that you can get this for around 230, 240 USD. At the back, you may have noticed it says limited edition. Now, it may be, I don't really know what that means, but it's been on sale, at least on Amazon, since 2012, so over 4 years, and it's still available. I don't really know how limited it is. It probably isn't, actually, as far as I have seen. Now, this model is, obviously, if you've heard already, it's a GMT model. It comes in a 46 millimeter case, and it really is 46 millimeters at the base, but you can see it tapers upwards towards the face, towards the glass, and by the time you get to the glass is actually about 39 millimeters wide, so it doesn't wear quite as large as 46 millimeters might be expected to. It's just under 15 millimeters thick, a standard or an even 22 millimeter lug width, which is suitable for this size. It's rated at 50 meter water resistance, but there's no screw down crown. There's a very loose rotation control for the bezel, inner bezel there, so and there's leather straps, so really it's water resistance for the accidental exposure. Mineral glass and mineral glass display back of the movement there, and I'll turn it around so you can see the escapement, and not not a low-level decoration, or I guess it is a low-level decoration, but there is some decoration there on the movement that you can see evident through the glass. Ingersoll lists this as a caliber 620, whatever that really means. It's listed as 20 joules. It beats at 21,600 BPM. So the more the Japanese level of beat rather than the Swiss level of beat. 30-hour power reserve listed on the instructions. So quite a low level of power reserve in this day and age. And here we have obviously a black dial with loom on those numbers, well, not the minute markers, the hour markers and the hands, as well as the seconds counter, and with a quite a nice beige, patina, false aged look there. In a 24-hour rotating bezel for the GMT, and there's no resistance whatsoever. In fact, it's probably too easy to turn. You can bump against this and cause it to turn. The hand winds at the default position, as you can see there, or hear there. That's a winding sound, and pulling it out brings it to the various adjustment positions. These hands look like chronograph, these buttons look like chronograph buttons, but they're not. That is a day adjustment, and I'll push it and you can see that left-hand subdial is the day marker, and it clicks across with each push. And this is the month marker on the right-hand subdial there, and it clicks 1 month per push. The day does change each 24-hour cycle of the watch, but the month does not. That requires you to manually set it. I guess it was too difficult for them to build that into this. The bracelet is, or the band is calfskin leather, or at least that's what it says it is. You have genuine leather listed there. A fairly nice print of the company name on the other side. Stainless steel buckle with the brand name on it there, and another stainless steel loop there. And this is part of what I actually quite like as well. It's a very thick strap. It's the thickest strap that I have actually on any of the watches that I have, and I haven't quite measured it, but that's probably about a 5mm thickness, at least a 4mm thickness on that strap there, and quite substantial and comfortable as well, I have to say. Now, what are the notable things about this watch? Whether they're pros or not, up to you to decide. But I think you're getting fair value for just over $200 for a watch that is solid. It is 316 stainless steel, as it stated on the back very proudly. Right there, 316L. You're getting a display back. You're getting a GMT function that works well. And the thing I like most about this is really the looks. It's large. It's got this casual, rugged feel look about it. It's eye-catching with the size, how it sits above your wrist, the large buttons. I'll just put it on for the wrist shot. The thick leather strap that you can see there, and yet it feels and wears very comfortably. Now it is a large watch, and it's might be just a smidgen right for my particular wrist size. I'm not catching the lugs very well there against my skin, but I think it's just about acceptable for my wrist size. But it is a large watch. And I have enjoyed it, on the weekends when you're wearing earthen colors, to go with it. It's a nice, something I've really come to enjoy. Now, what's not so good about this? Well, nobody knows what Ingersoll is, or at least nobody who really pays attention, who doesn't pay attention to watches. Many friends have noticed the watch, but when I tell them, it's an Ingersoll, you just get this blank look. It says quite something to look at, to note actually, that nobody really knows what Ingersoll is. Now, it's not really usable for wet purposes. I definitely wouldn't take this into the water, and I would avoid splashing water too much on this because of the leather. I don't want to risk what may or may not happen to this. And certainly, it's not a screw down crown. It's only rated at 50 meters. You don't take this into the water. I wouldn't even take this into the shower. And it's unproven. They don't tell you what movement it is. It's a mystery. It's only for 30 hours in terms of the power reserve, and I don't know how long this may or may not last. But the company's been around, and you'd hope that it's a movement that does appear to be fairly easy to service or repair if that needs to happen. Now, just the last bit here, I just want to comment about how I choose to use the GMT on this. I think I tended to come to put the GMT hand at GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Now I'm in Perth, so I'm at +8, so at 8 p.m. The time in Greenwich is 12 midday, as you can see there. Now, how else you might use the GMT? Well, technically, I think most people would say you set the main time at where you are, and you keep the red GMT hand at some sort of reference point, whether it's your home or whether it's GMT. I prefer to use GMT. And for a watch with a rotatable bezel, I think it makes sense. So, with the 12 o'clock mark at 00 hours, the GMT hand points at Greenwich Mean Time. And if you want to find out what time it is in another time zone, you just rotate it to that time. So for example, New York is -5, so you just turn it back to -5, so 19 at the top there, and you can find out the time in New York is currently 7 p.m. or thereabouts. 7 a.m. Okay, let's say if I were to go, I want to find out what time it is in Sydney. Now Sydney's +11 at the moment, so I'll turn it to 11 there, and I'll find out that the time in Sydney is 11 p.m. That's how I choose to use it. There's many ways, there's many ways to skin a cat. There's different ways you can use a GMT function, but I think this intuitively makes sense to me. So there we have it. That's the video. I hope this has been enjoyable. A look at something that's a bit different. I've taken a look at YouTube. There is no individual review of this watch out there. I think there's one which is part of a group review. But all the others are just kind of 1-minute looks. So, I hope this has been a useful insight into something a little bit different. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.